So I had a good poker day last night. So checked out of my hotel this morning and wanted to do something productive and a diversion for the day since I've been playing more or less a lot of poker the last week or so. So I decided to re-hook up my solar system and kind of, I'm not sure if this is going to work. I don't even know if the solar panel still works because it puts out voltage, but the amperage is kind of, I couldn't get a simple fan to run on the wire last time I hooked it up, and I don't know what that means exactly. I don't know if it's supposed to go through a battery. I'm pretty sure you should be able to hook it up to the solar panel. So this might be a failing effort on my part. I'm going to try to be very careful on this battery because it's a lawn and garden, not very many amps to it. So I'm primarily motivated to get my charging station up and running again and hopefully be able to run a cooling fan, a vent fan, and my little refrigerator cooler during the day. But the strategy is to program the charge controller to when it drops below a certain voltage to cut off the power until it recharges again. So I'm gonna try to take it very gently on this battery. I'm not sure if the battery will survive this treatment. I'm not even sure if the solar panel is still working because it kind of got destroyed at a car wash in Prior Lake, Minnesota. As soon as I got back, I was having trouble with it coming loose from the roof on the drive back. But that was no match for what the car wash did to it. It destroyed it, and I was able to solder the wires back on and do some repairs, but I don't know if this is going to work this time. Anyway, wish me luck. I totally forgot to mention the other motive for trying to get this working again is that I didn't run my vehicle too often the last week, and I was recharging my phone, my DVD player, etc. off of it, and one morning the battery was dead. And I actually had to jump start it with my hover sled batteries. Thank goodness I had hover sled batteries with a wiring rig that I built for my sailboat to power my little outboard electric booster by hover sled batteries. Anyway, that worked pretty good, but thankfully I had that wire rig and figured out how to actually jumpstart the vehicle. So yeah, I have had to do that twice in the last 5 weeks. So once I left my headlights on, I have a bad habit of doing that. There's no alarm. There's no alarm with this setup if you leave your headlights on like my truck had. Anyway.
Television.
Hilarious. So again, on this Walmart apple pie, the only reason I bought it, other than to save 16 cents, is to take another one for the team. Look at these nutrition stats, and you tell me if this is a good snack. So, 35% daily value for saturated fat if I eat this. And here's why. Water, apples, wheat flour, palm oil, sugar, corn syrup. Okay, so the palm oil, definite not good. Sugar and corn syrup, definitely not good. So if I have this in maybe 3 or 4 settings, take it slow, yeah, I probably won't, have a stroke or heart attack just yet. So poker recap for what day is it? Thursday? Okay, the Thursday night football game. I played because they have a promotion. Tonight I played at LaBerge since they just started their promotion again. So I wanted to get some poker comps at LaBerge because here is my favorite restaurant called Asia, which I like to spend my comps at, and mostly. And I had a nice dinner at 5:30. I had the fried rice again, and I got to the poker game by like 6:45. You have to be there before the kickoff to pick your squares. And since there was only one table playing tonight, they let us pick 4 squares. So that was double the odds. 4 squares out of 100 possible squares, and 4 quarters, which means there was a 1 in 6 chance of winning money. And the fourth quarter, they put all the money that didn't hit into the fourth quarter. So the fourth quarter was $1,200 and some dollars. I don't think anyone won all night. I mean, there was only 9 or 10 players. during the game. So um, not even half the squares were taken up. So odds were that the house was going to keep their money. Anyway, I got off to a classic start. A dealer named Hunter was there, and I kid around with the dealers, and I told him when I was buying in for $122 that I always lose my first all-in hand. It's kind of a tradition for me to lose my all-in hand. So I don't buy in for a lot of money, and if I happen to double up, I'll just leave with an extra $100 in my pocket, whatever. So my welcome to the table was, I mean, in the first hour, pocket aces. I had them. And classic start. I raised, of course. I mean, a little, because you don't want to scare everyone out of the hand. So it was heads up, which is good enough. Um, and the flop came 10, 10, 8, or whatever. Heads up. I have pocket aces. Um, I don't remember who did the betting, but the turn was checked. Check, check. I believe I was first act, check, check. So I felt really safe on the river. Um, I, I, I can't remember who did the checking. Anyway, I check, or he bets out $35, I think, and I call. He has a 10. Same old, same old. So as per prediction, I lose my initial stack, buy in for $200 more, and I have pocket aces again in short order, and I think I win this one. No, yeah, I win it because it's heads up again, and this guy, uh, he bets 25, and I call, and and I could have raised, but I mean, he has got like $25 left over, and I said, I don't like to put people all in, so if you bet it, that's on you. And I think on the river or turn, whatever, he bets it. And I'm like, okay, it's only $25 into probably $100 pot. And of course, I win uh, with pocket aces because I checked one of the turn or whatever. He might have felt confident that I didn't have anything. Um, another, okay, so another interesting hand. I have Queen 10 of spades. And I meant to call $3 because I was in a bad position, a weak position. Anyway, I meant to call the $3 and I had to throw a $5 chip in there, and another $5 chip stuck to the initial $5 chip. So the dealer says raise to 10. So I accidentally raised the pot, which was, I didn't mind. I really had a strong hand. Queen 10 of spades is a very strong hand, but my position wasn't strong. So I tried to limp in, or it works either way. I was happy with the raise, especially when I saw the flop. There were two spades on the flop, and uh, eventually another spade hits, and there was a straight flush. I checked the turn. Well, I didn't bet hard on the turn because there was a straight flush draw out there, so I could have hit it. And because I checked or whatever, there was a heavy bet on the river, I think $50 or something, and I call, of course, or get raised on the river. Anyway, I won the hand, so I chipped back up to, um, I was almost even again uh, during these hands, so it was pretty. I mean, I prefer to win every hand that I'm in to make a decisive victory, but even when you're not really losing your shirt, it's kind of good actually when you have a mix of winning and losing hands. Anyway, this next hand kind of shook me. Um, I had 3-6, I believe, 3-6, and the flop came. Um, no, anyway, 3-6. So the flop comes 2-3-4 or something like that. 2-3-4. Yeah, 2-3-4. Definitely 2-3-4. Um, and I had three. I had a I had a straight draw with a pair. That let's just say that, and they were betting $15 on the flop and the turn, so it was a big pot brewing. Um, and I called because if a five would have hit, that would have given me the straight, which would have been likely the best hand. But it didn't work exactly according to plan. The turn came an additional two. So, I mean, two is not completely scary. A pair of twos on the board. But the river came a three. So there's a four, two threes, and two twos on the board, which means I have threes full of twos, which beats twos full of threes or twos full of anything, threes full of two. And it was a pretty big pot. And I remember at least two other players being at the river. And it was a pretty sizable pot. I'm gonna say at least 150, approaching $200. So I bet 50, and I'm like, immediately I'm thinking, oh, 50 is too much. I'm trying to do a value bet, and I want to call. Definitely want to call with threes full of twos. And the initial player folds, so I'm like, I bet too much. And the button player, only player left in the hand, goes into the tank for a few seconds. And I'm like, he's going to fold. I bet too much. I've got about, I think, around 200 left. Maybe a little under 200. And I have probably close to $100 already in the pot. And he says, all in. So, what? Okay, so immediately my eyes draws attention to there's a straight flush possibility on the board. Straight flush. 2, 3, 4 of diamonds. So an ace 5 of diamonds is a straight flush. That beats my hand. Three's full of twos. The other hand that beats my or the other hand that's beats my hand is pocket twos, which every time you have a full house, you can't necessarily worry about quads. It happens. It's like one of the last hands I played at the table. I wasn't in the hand, but one of the last hands I saw tonight was quad eights. So it happens. It just happens. But you can't worry about quads every time you have a full house because it's definitely a possibility. Um, so I thought, well, maybe we're chopping, you know, maybe he has threes full of twos also. So thankfully, it wasn't all that much. I mean, it was a lot to call. I mean, a lot, you know, $300 in the hand. It was a lot, but it wasn't like a super lot. Anyway, I I was completely stunned when he flipped over pocket fours. So he flopped a set of fours and turned a full house and played it perfectly because there were so many people in the hand. He didn't have to worry about raising. I mean, there were a lot of players in the hand, at least 5 or 6 players, and he was always the last to act. So there was no indication from his action that he had a full house. I mean, it just knocked the wind out of me, and I was really mad. I mean, I was pissed. That was a lot of money for me to lose, especially when I've been losing for, it's been like 2.5 weeks that I was at my top and can't break through that barrier. And it's like every time I try, I just get knocked in the head, run into a brick wall. I mean, this was really a bad beat for me because I wouldn't have been in the hand. I believe it was my big blind, so I called. I'm in the hand already to begin with. So when I saw the flop, I mean, a pair on the board with a straight possibility is a good hand. And I rarely call on a draw. I mean, for me to get to the river, the only reason I got to the river was the straight possibility. Anyway, that was pretty rough. So I busted out for a second time, bought back in for $600. And, I was not happy. And, part of the reason I bought back in was because fourth quarter was in session, and with a $1,200 on the line, I really don't want to get up from the table before that winning square is known, because it might be me and I could use that $1,200. Anyway, so I'm back in for $600. There's an aggressive player. I was in the 4 seat, and there's a really aggressive player in the 8 seat. And he busted out in a big hand. I mean, there's this one guy that smoked me with pocket fours, was really winning. He won 2 or 3 nice pots. I mean, he was stacking chips, and it's kind of annoying because, he doesn't need the money. I mean, it's nice to win, but, it's like you look at these players and it's like, are you so lucky in life that you just win and win and win? It's like, why is this fair? because I lose and lose and lose, no matter how hard I try. Okay, so it's like, what is it, a karma thing? I don't know. Anyway, so I had pocket kings another time during the night and won with pocket kings. I mean, to win like 40 or 50 bucks when you just lost 300 and know you're deep, and it's like, and I lost another hand where I shaved another $100 off my stack. Anyway, so I was debating leaving, and I knew I was going to leave soon, but I mean, after the game, the table was kind of dwindling. But, the big stacks were still there, got down to about five-handed at one point, but the table came back to life. There were at least 8 players, enough to keep me in the game for at least a little while, because energy wasn't an issue. Because I've been drinking root beer, so I got a little sugar going. Anyway, I get pocket kings. This is an interesting hand. I get pocket kings, and I raised to $6. Now the reason I'm raising to $6 was I'm in early position, so that's not a good position to be with a big hand or with any hand, unless you do the reverse and bet out with scare cards on the board on the flop, or something like that. Anyway, I at least want to get a little pot going, so people have reason to fight over it a little bit, maybe get a little more aggressive. And depending on the flop, I mean, I'm going to decide in a hurry whether or not I'm going to play those kings, particularly if an ace comes on the flop. I'm out, quick decision. I have no problem folding aces or kings with an over card on the board. Anyway, so the 8 seat gets around to the 8 seat. People are calling, and he raises to $50. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily bad for me, but I think this, and I almost thought it out loud. It's like, man, buddy, you just killed our action. You killed our action. We could have built a massive pot. So it kind of irks me when you get a raise that kills the action. But there were at least one, if not two, more callers. I'm gonna say one caller. So it's three-way action with probably $170 in the pot pre-flop. This is what you wait for. This is why you play 8 hours tight. Take your move when you got the shot. Disciplined poker. I flopped a king. A king came on the flop with, say, a 10 and a 6, whatever, rainbow. Top set, the best hand on the flop. First, the nuts on the flop. And it was a great position because it was already set up for aggression. There was enough money in the pot to make continue bets and be aggressive. So I believe since the 8 seat was the razor, I just checked, so he would bet. I don't remember what he bet. I'll say just $50. So $50, um, maybe 75. I don't remember if the third player called or not. Anyway, uh, the turn card comes and it's a blank, and I check, expecting him to bet. He checks back. This is incredibly valuable information for what happens next. A 2 hits the river, pairing the board. I have a full house. The only possible hand that beats me are quad 2s. And we know he doesn't have quad 2s because he checked the turn. There's no way on earth in that hand that anyone with a set of 2s, particularly after betting the flop, would check the turn. No way. Okay, so so I grab 3 green chips and throw them in $75 into I want to say $350 pot. And immediately I go to thinking again, it's too much. It's too much. He's not going to call. I was right about that. He raised, which was just, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better situation in no limit hold'em. So he raises, he made it 175. So I throw at $75 and he makes it 175. Opening the door for me to raise him back. which which I'm, obviously gonna do. It's just a matter of how much. At this point, I'm, at the river. I think I had around $500 on the river, so 75 is out, and I size up the 100 to push in, but I'm not going to push it in till I determine the raise. And once again, I think very briefly, okay, does he have me beat? No, 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 because he checked the turn. There's no way he would have checked the turn. And pocket kings full of 2s, is the best hand if he doesn't have quads. So I think the setup was perfect because I checked the turn, so that kind of gives away that I don't have a strong hand. And when I took time to think about how much I would re-raise him, I took just enough time and looked confused enough where So, kind of, that's kind of Hollywooding a little bit, but you don't really want to rush hands like this. Okay, um, so the other thing I did to ensure that he would call my re-raise is I didn't go all in. I decided $200 on top was the re-raise, and I had around 100 left behind. So I wasn't all in. I wasn't, you know, implying that I had the nuts. So so I bet 75, he raises to 175, and I re-raise him back to 375, and not all in. I got another 100 left behind. And I really didn't know if he would make the call, but he did. It was a huge pot. Um, the pot that I won over the weekend was $900. I think this was 11. I want to say $1,150. Big pot, big pot. And with $100 left in my stack, I mean, yeah, I made money tonight. Not a huge amount because I lost two all-ins. I got stacked twice before I rebought and hit this hand. So, wow. Um, I was about to leave and I was dealt ace queen, excuse me, ace queen of hearts, and I flopped a queen, and the one seat bets 15, and I'm like, I'm gonna, am I gonna risk? I gonna risk it, getting involved in another hand that's could, you know, shave $100 off my stack again really easy. So he bets up 15. I size up my raise. Um, I was thinking about raising $45, but I actually only raised $30, and the other opponent folds. He makes, I think he makes the call. The next card I push in like 45, and he folds. And the next card would have given the opponent that folded on the flop, I think, two pair. I had a straight possibility too, but I only had queen with an ace. So anyway, I can't believe how tonight turned out, and yeah, I would have been heartbroken to walk away with another loss. And thankfully, I'm ecstatic because I had a significant win tonight, actually. And I played 6 hours. I mean, yeah, I mean, it went fast. I mean, I don't normally play that long, just casually. Anyway, I went to Modern Pantry and got a chili dog because I'm hungry and I think I earned it tonight. And also at Modern Pantry, I look down and see this little guy, and I find stuff all the time, and like some of the stuff that I find and keep it, and it smells like a dog toy. And my initial thought is like some little kid lost this, and like he's never gonna find it. It's sorry, but he's not he's not gonna come back at midnight and pick up his little rubber toy dinosaur. um I don't know what this is. Bottle opener? I mean, ketchup cover? I don't know. But maybe it's gonna be my new card protector. I I don't have a card protector anyway. I just use chips, but this would be a kind of cool card protector. I'll at least use it for a session or two just to get a laugh. Maybe it'll be my lucky little dinosaur. Anyway, wow, what a long video. I just blab on and on and on. Wow. I'm sorry. Took up too much of your time. Have a good night. See you in the morning.
Economy. We need to cut costs further for families. That's what my Build Back Better plan does. It's still being considered in Congress. It will lower the out-of-pocket cost for child care, elder care, housing, college, health care, prescription drugs. In fact, a new independent analysis released this week showed that my plan would mean $7,400 in tax cuts and savings for the typical.
As you see, I have some new sunglasses. I found these this morning at the beach on a picnic table. They were covered with dew, so that means they've been there all night. And abandoned for hours, and not likely anyone is gonna come back for them. That's what my thinking is. I mean, everyone here is filthy rich too, so I mean, they don't care about money or little things like this, and they're probably cheap sunglasses. Anyway, I'm making justification for grabbing them before anyone else came along to pick them up. Anyway, so they're perfect for poker playing because they won't fit over my prescription glasses, but they're perfect for poker play because they're so concealing of my eyes. These are really great sunglasses. You know, they're not polarized. Hopefully they're UV resistant or UV blocking, who knows, but they're a total view for my eyes. I don't see any frame, and it's just really cool. Anyway, hilarious. So a quick poker update. I took a couple days off from my Thursday night win and played last night, Saturday night for about an hour or 45 minutes or whatever. Made $55, primarily from my all-in bets, and the player beside me deciding, once he heard my story about how I buy in for the minimum because I always lose my first all-in bet, he said ahead of time that he wanted to call me because of that, and I actually won that hand. Anyway, football squares last night. The object is to just survive, to sit at the table for 3 hours, to have your shot at the squares. I made only $25, but I'm happy about that because I did survive the table for 3 hours, and I kind of came close to a win in football squares, particularly the fourth quarter, where 2250 was up for grabs, 2,250. And I had 0.6, I believe, and the winner was 0.2 of the $2,250. So if Cincinnati would have scored 4 more points, in the fourth quarter, that would have gone to me. Anyway, I'm here on Monday morning at the Nugget because they reset all of the Aces Full promotion. So there's $300 up for grabs. Each of the Aces Full. So there's a significant probability. Your worst or your best chances are always to play during the promotion. So if you lose in poker, you might win one of the promotional hands, and that's a significant bump. So that's why I'm here. Oh, and incidentally, now I'm only like less than $100 away from my best total for the month. So I scratched back up there, chipped my way back, and hopefully I'll break through today and start scoring a win again. Because I just can't magically break through that level. It's been a couple weeks. I'm ahead for the trip, obviously, but I want to break through that level and move on. I really want to get back to Houston and Galveston. So I've spent enough time here. It's time to go. Kind of a cool moment happened this morning a while ago. Will came out and he had some free play and he put a $20 free play on the blackjack table and he lost it. In the second hand, he put a $40 free play down and was dealt 7 and 4, which means 11. So it was a great double down, and I'm sitting here standing behind him, and it's like, he has no more money. And I'm like, Will, I got $40 on me if we want to double down on that bet. And I flip him 2 $20 bills, and the dealer, cashes them to chips. And he throws down a 10. Dealer made 17, and I just made $40 just by standing around. So